The other emotions I experienced were loneliness. I was away from my family, I was away from my son. And that was a really mixed and complicated scenario for me because of my illness and part of that being intrusive thoughts. I also felt fearful to be around him and to be with him, but I also felt fearful and ashamed of being away from him. So that was a really complicated thing for me to go through at the time.
Ensuring that the needs of the consumer as a parent are looked at, one of the really key things we have to consider is when the right time is for her to have contact with her baby and how that's managed. And really that should be a very collaborative decision between the consumer, her family, any other supports that are involved, and obviously the multidisciplinary treating team.
I think it was, for me, one of the biggest challenges was that I wanted to be a nurturing mother and immediately be back to caring with my son, but also very fearful of being around him. So there was a sense of relief while being on the ward as well. So it was quite a complex situation. And I'm not sure that all those complexities were highlighted in terms of my admission.
So for some mums like Amanda, the idea of having contact with their babies during that initial acute phase can actually be really difficult and quite traumatising, while for others the prolonged separation from their infant can have the same impact. So ideally what we want to try and do is minimise the length of separation, but also ensure that when we are planning for that contact, that we're considering the safety and well-being of both the mum and the baby in that process. So we're thinking about when the mother is ready to have contact or father is ready to have contact with their baby, but also how that will impact on the baby in terms of their developmental and emotional needs.
Again, a lot of the time we have our own preconceived notions about connecting with baby being a wonderful thing, and a lot of the time it is, but it can also be really overwhelming. And it can be depending on symptoms. So debriefing after, having those conversations with mum, having the conversations with partner, it is extremely important in looking at actually moving at a pace that the mom is comfortable with. And that suits the family.